Cold War-era military bunker, buried over 300 meters beneath a remote Appalachian mountain. It had been sealed and abandoned for nearly 20 years. He arrived with a 5-man technical crew, all ex-military. They were flown in by helicopter, then escorted to a massive steel door embedded in the rock. Before entering, they were given one final instruction. Don't ask questions, don't record anything, and if something goes wrong, you were never here. They stepped inside. The steel door sealed shut behind them, and the world vanished. No natural light, no contact. Only flickering fluorescent bulbs, endless corridors, and a strange metallic stench, like old blood and rusted meat. Day 2. They began clearing rooms. One chamber, long abandoned, bore the signs of containment. The walls were scratched, not by rats, but by fingers. Long, deep grooves like claws. Above the scratches, carved into concrete with something sharp, "It doesn't sleep." That night, Andrew lay awake. Somewhere in the pipes, he heard singing. A woman's voice. Soft, lulling, too delicate for the dead air of a bunker. He told himself it was the plumbing. But the next night, the voice returned. Closer, clearer. Middle of the night, he woke to something touching his neck. Cold, damp, flesh. He shot up. No one there, but the steel hallway door was cracked open, even though he'd locked it. Next morning, one of the team, Davies, was gone. No sound, no struggle, only his boots sitting neatly by the doorway, and a torn scrap of paper with handwriting like a child's. "She's singing to me now." From then on, reality twisted. The lights began to flicker in rhythm with the humming. The walls sweated. Security cameras caught glimpses of a shape at the end of the hallways, always facing away, always gone when you approached. Night 8. Andrew awoke again, knocking, but not at the door, from under the floor. Knock, knock, knock. Slow, measured, heavy, like someone was knocking up through the dirt. He crouched, pressed his ear to the floor. Then a whisper, directly in his ear. "I'm still here. I haven't made it out yet." He shot up, heart pounding, rushed to wake the others, but when he reached them, they were all awake. Crying, silently, tears rolling down lifeless faces, blank stares, like the souls had been sucked out and left the bodies for decoration. He tried to initiate evacuation, but the elevator no longer worked. The control panel blinked a message in red: "Exit disabled. You are not permitted to leave." Day 10. They were no longer human. James, the team's radio tech, started whispering into the vents. He smiled, laughed. When asked who he was talking to, he replied, "My wife. She's in the walls. She sings for me now." James was never married. The final night, Andrew didn't sleep. He sat in the central chamber, flashlight clutched in his hand, and then he heard it. The song, right behind the steel panel. He leaned in, pressed his ear to the wall, and heard his own voice singing, "Sleep is the door. Once opened, you can't come back." He ran, sprinted down the corridors, light failing. Every bulb went dark, total blackout. In that pitch-black silence, he saw her. A woman, standing, motionless, pale skin, soaking hair, mouth gaping open from jaw to neck, and no eyes, just hollow sockets bleeding. She opened her mouth, and his voice came out. 3 days later, A recovery team descended. They found Andrew alone, crouched in the control room, mouth moving, still humming. Over and over. "I'm still here. I haven't made it out yet." The bunker has never been reopened, but those who've stood near the sealed door say, if you press your ear to the cold steel, you can still hear something. A soft song, familiar, and horribly, horribly your own.
Part 5. Lane 13. Based on a 2002 case file, Michigan National Forest. Not every road leads home. Some only take you further from reality. And once you're lost, something else finds you first. In October 2002, a man named Walter Finch, a 57-year-old history professor, vanished while driving through Huron-Manistee National Forest in Michigan. He was punctual, meticulous, and mentally sound, not the kind of person to just disappear. He left campus on a Friday afternoon. The drive should have taken 3 hours. He never arrived. The strange part? His car was found, untouched, parked neatly on a narrow, unnamed stretch of road. No signage, no map records, just a forgotten asphalt loop with 13 lanes. The vehicle was intact. Wallet, phone, still warm food in the passenger seat. Only one thing was missing. Walter. Search teams combed the woods, but GPS glitched. Radios buzzed with static. Compasses spun as if pulled by something buried beneath them. What they thought was magnetic interference was just the beginning, because then they heard a voice. A man's voice, cracked, bone dry. "I'm lost. I'm down here." They followed it, but the voice came from every direction, endless, shifting. One searcher, Roslyn, strayed from the group. 5 minutes later, they found her standing at the edge of the asphalt, frozen, eyes wide, pupils dilated, her lips moving silently as if singing. When she finally collapsed, she whispered one line before blacking out. "There's someone walking between the lanes." That night, the team camped near Walter's vehicle. A young officer named Logan reported seeing a shape moving through the outermost lanes. It had no face, just a human silhouette flickering like heat waves, and it walked on its toes. Day 2. The team began hearing wheels scraping pavement. No vehicles were in the area, just a rhythmic screech, as if someone were riding a rusted bike in circles around and around the 13 lanes. Using parabolic mics, they tried to isolate the sound and discovered the screech was coming from beneath the road. They dug down a few inches beneath the asphalt. Underneath was a layer of broken bones, thousands of bone shards tangled with hair and fingernails. Federal agents arrived the next morning. No logos, no names, no credentials. They took control and said, "This area contains spatial bleeding. Nobody stays past sunset." Walter Finch was never found, but his wife received a package. No return address. Inside, a VHS tape. Footage from Walter's dashboard cam. At first, just normal daytime driving. Then suddenly, the footage darkens instantly. No dusk, no transition. It's like the sunlight was sucked away. Then the camera shakes. The road shifts. Each lane morphs into a shadowed corridor, and from each one, figures begin to appear. Faceless, motionless, just watching. And Walter's voice whispers, "Each lane is a gate, and with every pass, I lose another piece of myself." The video ends with him turning to the camera, his face pale, eyes black as ink. He says, "If someone finds me, please don't bring me back. I'm not me anymore." The road no longer appears on maps. There's no barricade. Authorities act like it never existed. But locals say, on moonless nights, if you stand quietly near the edge of the forest, you can hear a faint metallic squeal and a voice whisper, "I took the wrong turn. Now I guide the others."
Blood Sign, Part 6, The Mirrorless Hallway. Abandoned Hospital, Colorado, 1994. Some places once healed people, but over time, the walls learned only how to preserve pain. Not to help you, but to make sure you never leave. In 1994, Elena Duarte, a photography student, decided to shoot her final project in an abandoned hospital deep in Colorado, once a psychiatric center for war veterans in the 1940s. The hospital had been shut down after a mysterious fire in the basement in 1971. No deaths, but afterward, the building was scrubbed from official records. The government claimed demolished, but Elena found it. Day one, she arrived with a Polaroid camera and a headlamp. The main door was rusted shut, but the chains had already been cut. As she entered, the first thing she noticed, no mirrors anywhere. For a hospital, that was odd. No mirrors in the bathrooms, none in the surgical rooms, not even in the dressing areas. Only dark outlines where they used to be, as if someone had ripped them out forcefully. She started photographing. Endless hallways, overturned wheelchairs, faded patient charts. But when she developed the Polaroids, she saw something she hadn't seen in real time. People. Figures. Faint, transparent shapes, standing just inches away from her in every shot. A man in a doctor's coat, head bowed. A child in a patient gown, eyes completely black. And none of them had a reflection. That night, she decided to sleep inside to capture night images. Around 2 a.m., Elena woke up, heart racing. She felt someone standing beside her bedroll in the pitch-black emergency ward. She flicked on her headlamp. No one there, but the floor had wet footprints, starting from the far wall and stopping right next to her. Day two, she explored the basement, the site of the 1971 fire. There she found a narrow hallway, unmarked on all blueprints. The walls were lined with hundreds of handwritten notes, each one repeating the same sentence, "Don't let it see mirrors." At the end of the hallway, a single room remained locked. Inside, one mirror, shattered, but still hanging. When Elena looked into it, she didn't see herself. She saw another girl, wearing her clothes, same position, same camera, but crying, mouth moving, screaming, yet no sound came out.
Elena bolted from the room, but the hallway, it kept stretching. Each door she opened led back to the same room with the same mirror. And this time, there were more figures in the reflection, standing behind her, getting closer every time she blinked. She smashed the mirror. Glass shattered. Behind it was not a wall, but another room, a padded cell lined with white rubber walls. And inside, Elena, hunched in the corner, tied down, eyes wide open, but the body was decomposing. When Elena failed to return for 2 days, authorities searched the hospital. They found her Polaroid camera and a damaged voice recorder. The tape played one chilling message. "I thought I was photographing this place, but it was photographing me." There's something in the images, not alive, not dead, just replaying the final moments of everyone who was ever here. And now, I'm part of it. The hospital is now sealed off, but locals whisper, on stormy nights, if you approach the eastern wall, you might see a flicker of lightning, not from the sky, but reflected off a broken mirror buried behind brick. If you look into it, don't blink, because you might see yourself on the other side, and the version of you standing outside will never leave that wall again.
Suburban home, Minnesota, 1999. Some places don't need lock. They don't need to keep you inside, because once you stepped in, you were already there. You just didn't realize it yet. Jeremy and Claire, a newlywed couple, moved into a cheap home on the outskirts of a quiet Minnesota town. They weren't superstitious. They just thought they were lucky. A house within budget, peaceful neighborhood, spacious backyard. But just weeks after moving in, Claire began having the same dream over and over again. A hallway, endless. Every door she opened led her back to the same house, their house, but off. Lights didn't work. Their wedding photo hung upside down, and footsteps echoed upstairs, even though they both slept on the ground floor. At first, they blamed stress, until Jeremy noticed something strange on the house plans. The layout from the previous owner included a small room behind the backyard shed. But in real life, the back wall of the shed was smooth, unbroken. One night, curious, Jeremy knocked gently on the wall. It sounded hollow. They hired someone to inspect it. Inside that wall was a sealed room with a single bed, an old desk clock, and a dusty swivel chair. And on the wall, a photograph of Jeremy and Claire sleeping. The photo had been taken from above, a ceiling angle. No one had installed a camera there. From that night on, everything began to shift. Claire noticed small objects had moved each morning. Spoons flipped upside down, picture frames turned, clocks ticking backwards. Jeremy saw a reflection on the blank TV screen. It wasn't either of them. It looked human, but slightly taller and just a little too familiar. They left for 3 days, staying in a hotel. When they came back, the food in the fridge had been rearranged. One cabinet door stood open, and on top of the fridge, a note in neat handwriting. "Thanks for letting me live in the trial versions. The original will be complete soon." Terrified, they installed cameras all over the house, but the footage only showed themselves sleeping. No intruders, no activity, except for one thing. One night, the footage showed Claire getting up, walking to the bathroom, and never returning. But when Jeremy woke the next morning, Claire was right there beside him, fast asleep. They moved out immediately. 6 months later, a new couple moved in. They began experiencing similar events, but this time they didn't leave. Later that year, a neighbor called the police, said they'd seen lights on at night, but no one ever left the house. Officers broke in. The house was completely empty, except for the dining table, where 4 photographs were neatly placed, each showing a previous resident asleep in the same position, on the same bed, under the same roof. No one knows who took the photos. No one remembers ever posing that way. And the sealed room behind the shed hasn't been reopened since.
Do you hear it? Not the sound in your ears, but the final silence, that quiet moment after every story ends, and you begin to wonder, if it happened to them, could it one day be me? There are places out there that don't exist on any map. No signs, no warnings, no explanations. They don't call to you. They just wait for the right person to arrive. And when you enter, you won't hear a scream or see some monstrous face. No, just something slightly off. A door that closes too softly. A footstep that doesn't match the movement. A reflection that looks like you, but isn't quite. The people who vanish aren't always dead. Some of them just quietly slip out of this world. No screams, no goodbyes, just a missing face in a family photo. A footstep in the hallway at 3 a.m. A figure flickering across a powered-off TV screen. And if you're still listening, if you're in a quiet place, alone, don't look over your shoulder. Just don't blink. Thank you for walking with us through places humans were never meant to linger. And if you still hear something, it might not be coming from your headphones. It might be coming from behind you, from the part you forgot to lock.